Okay, we are very excited to be joined by KFC. So I just want to start at the very top of our show today. Please tell the people who don't know, what does KFC stand for?
Kahleah freaking Copper.
Okay, is it a freaking or is it something else? Be honest.
Well, the kids are watching, Holly, so it's freaking for right now.
Okay, I love it. I really feel like this nickname really evolved over time, but when I first remember it was in the WNBA bubble. How have you just started really coming into your own and your power kind of starting that season in the bubble?
I think it was just trusting in myself, putting in a lot of work, and then, just taking off, never wanting to settle and wanting to continue to get better. And I just know that how good it felt, being able to get better, but, being able to be consistent is what separates you.
You are being consistent this year. You're coming off another 28-point performance. What's allowed you to be so consistent?
I think my teammates are really trying to find me. I think they're really just finding different ways in order to get me involved on the court. I think just find different ways of scoring, whether it's getting offensive rebounds, getting us extra possessions, or trying to get stops. So I think it's trying to add more to my game and just build off of that.
So this is kind of an off the court, fun, what we don't know about you from a basketball standpoint. Tell me a funny story about your obsession with nothing but cakes. Like, tell the people you're obsessed. Why are you so obsessed with cake?
I really like sweets. Like, I'm like a big sweets person, but I think a really funny story is some of my teammates, I got back here late to Chicago and I went into nothing but cakes, and the guy's like, I remember you from last year, but this is like a new management. And I'm like, yeah, I come here a lot. He's like, okay. So, from the beginning of the season till now, like if anybody goes into nothing but cakes, they're like, hey, there's a girl that's always in here. And I'm like, he always telling everybody my business. I'm literally there probably like every week, like at least.
You're like, hey, dude, keep it on the down low.
Yeah, like stop telling my business.
I know, but that's how I felt like I bonded with you is we're in the bubble and I'm just kind of getting to know you. You're kind of new to really having a big role in the W. And I come in one day and there's a little bundt cake sitting at my table. And I was like, oh, now we're bonded for life. My girl got me cake. We're bonded for life.
That's special. If I get you cake, you special.
I like it. Cake girls. I love it. We're cake friends. Tell me a little bit about you. And I have talked about this before, but people might be tuning into this and learning about you for the first time. You have had to really sacrifice in your life for your basketball career. Tell me about your childhood and what was a unique sacrifice you had as a kid.
I went to boarding school from first grade until 10th grade, and they just talked about not having competitive sports. And, once I got a lot better, I thought it was important for me to be able to play in high school. So I had to change schools, and I went to a school in a different neighborhood. So it was me waking up a lot earlier than normal, walking to Broad Street. If anybody is familiar with Philly, walking from like 22nd Street to 14th, and then catching a train and catching another bus to go to school in South Philly. So I think that it was a sacrifice for me. I had to get up much earlier. I had to figure out transportation. And sometimes I stayed with some of my friends who lived over there in the neighborhood, but it was just a sacrifice for me. And I had to figure out if that's what I really wanted to do. If I wanted to get up earlier, if I wanted to just go to a neighborhood school. And it was a much better school. It was a really good school. And it was probably one of my better options. I had an option close to me in North Philly, but it was just important for me to be able to go to a really good school coming from where I came from.
I kind of get intrigued too, because you went to a boarding school from first grade to 10th grade because your mom worked there and she kind of insisted that you do that. But like you're away from home at a boarding school for most of your life. How hard was that?
Yeah, I think it was really hard, but it was just something that I needed. Philly wasn't the safest place. I think I was in school 5 days a week. I went home on the weekends, but it was just safe. My mom didn't have to worry. I was the baby, so I was the last. so she didn't have to worry. I got to see my family on the weekends, but it was just important for me to be there for her, her and my grandmother not to have to worry about me.
Okay, so you talk about Philly a lot, and I think that you've got a lot of Philly in you, North Philly in your game, because there's some feistiness there that I associate with North Philly. Tell me, though, what you did recently, and you've been doing this for a few years now. I want to say 4 or 5 years. You've been going back and doing a camp for kids in your hometown. Why does that matter?
It's very important for me because I'm able to go back where I'm from, see little girls that look like me and are from where I'm from, and to be able to inspire them, to be able to provide these opportunities that I didn't have. I wasn't able to meet a WNBA player or for them to host a camp for me to directly learn from them. The thing for me and Keisha Hampton is just creating this opportunity, inspiring them. So, there's going to be a few special ladies that come out of Philly again, and they're going to feel obligated because they're going to remember how they felt meeting players from where they're from, and they're going to want to do the same thing. And then that just creates this cycle. So we're able to create these opportunities for young girls in Philly.
So what made you think that you could be in the WNBA then? Like, what was we always say, if you can see her, you can be her, but how did you believe you could be her?
Growing up, it's funny because growing up, I love Simone Augustus. I love Candace Parker. I love Ivory Latta. Those were my favorites. So, watching them and, trying to make moves like Michael Jordan, something different. But it just never really crossed my mind of like, I could be in the WNBA. It was just something that I look forward to. So I think once I got to, taking college visits, and Coach Stringer just like instilled this belief in my head and showed me that she has created so many professionals. And I'm like, wow, this could really be me. And she's like, no, like this can really be you. So I think that, once I started to take my college visits, I think Coach Stringer was a main part of me believing in getting to the next level.
I want to get back to one other thing because one of my favorite stories about you the last year, you've had an epic year. You were the finals champions for the Chicago Sky, but you were the finals MVP, and then you go to Europe and you win championships there. You're the Spanish League MVP. Like, you just have stayed winning for a year straight. But how about this? When people are Googling your name, they Google Kahleah Copper and Sophia Cunningham, and it has been a global search. Tell me about that moment. Do you know what I'm talking about? Tell me about the photo.
Holly, that picture is so funny. I've been seeing it around arenas. People have shirts, and I think it was just a good moment for women's basketball, honestly. It happened. I think it was the finals. It was like a moment that shouldn't be so surprising, I think they don't give us enough credit. They don't let us be feisty or passionate or whatever. Like we were literally fighting for a championship. So I think those things happen, and it's good for women's basketball. We shouldn't have to tiptoe around. We should be able to be ourselves. And I think that's literally me in a nutshell on the court. So
I love it. If you haven't seen the picture, definitely Google it, because Ka's face, like you make a play, she falls to the ground. And do you remember in that exact moment, like, what did you do or say?
I don't even know, Holly. I was just like, come on, we ain't even going that far. I'm just trying to win. I'm trying to get this ball, trying to get this extra possession. Like, we ain't doing
the look was something like, don't play with me. You don't know who you're dealing with. Is that a good way to sum it up?
Basically.
KFC. Well, I love it too, because I like what you're saying is, so I'm embarrassingly competitive. Like, I just tried to outrace a man to my airport gate last night. I'm an embarrassingly competitive person.
Do you try to beat the GPS too?
Oh my God, for sure. If I can shave time off the GPS, I'm living life. How much have you ever shaved off on a trip? I've shaved off 7 minutes on a 30-minute trip.
Ooh, 7? I mean, the most that I can remember on a good trip was like 5 minutes. I still try to beat the GPS to practice in the morning. It's only 4 minutes away. if I don't miss no lights and I can get out of the parking lot immediately, I can make it in like 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Ooh, that's good. What is something you've been competitive at that you're like, I'm embarrassed for myself right now. I'm so competitive.
You know what? Have you ever like got to a restaurant and you see people walking in, like people walking up? I'm running to the door to beat you there.
I know, and I have this walk down that is like, I'm gonna start speed walking here, but I don't want you to know that I'm in a competition with you. So it's like this casual speed walk, but in my brain, I'm like,
let me get the door for you. Let me get the door for you.
And they'll be like, oh no, after you. And I'm like, that's right.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Right. How do you think being super competitive has helped you be who you are on the court?
I think it's definitely helped a lot. I think being the ultimate competitor is just super important. You know, for me, it's crazy because I literally flip a switch on the court. I'm this totally different, chill person off the court. But I think just being the ultimate competitor is like, it brings like so much personality out of me on the court. And it just makes me a winner because I want to win, like whatever the matchup or whatever, I want to win. I want to deflate you. I want to just kill you basically on the court, like, and I want to win and I want to walk away happy. But after, you know, we can chat, bust it up, whatever it is. But I think on the court, like, I just want to win. Like, I just want it for me.
I can't wait for the day I see you in an airport somewhere and it's going to be a race to the death to our gate. Like, let's see who wins that battle. Okay, playoffs. I'm going to get you out of here, but I don't want to stop without what is primed and exciting for the Chicago Sky right now to defend your championship. It's hard to defend a championship. What's the vibe with the team right now?
You know, you could just never get too high and never get too low. I think we have to have that confidence and we have to have that swag. Like, we are still the defending champs, you know? Like, you still have to get through us. So I think, you know, once we get in a groove, you know, be able to get some practices in and we get our swag back, I think we'll be fine. You know, we just got to really like remind ourselves who we are. And I think that is coming, you know, just hit a little adversity and that's fine. I think that we're a really good team. And when we're playing our best basketball, we're really hard to beat.
Okay, last thing, anything fun off the court? Like, if you really know me, here's what you need to know about me.
I love my dog. Like,
tell me about your dog.
Sunny. Like, after games, I'm like, they're like, you want to go get some food? I'm like, I can't. I got to go home to Sunny. Like, I can't, like, for real, like, after practice, like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go chill with my dog. If he can't go, we are not going. Before I, like, go to restaurants, sometimes in the city, I'm like, is it dog friendly? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, perfect, I'll be there. Like, I love, like, my dog. Like,
how long have you had Sunny?
Funny, crazy story. He's 3, but I had 2 dogs and I had his mom since college. And then when, like, I came home like this random break in November and she got pregnant by my friend's dog and I didn't know. I went back to Turkey and then next thing you know, she was pregnant and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I ended up having 6 dogs in Turkey for a little bit. And I love dogs, so I'm like, I got so attached to them, and I'm like, okay, I got to get rid of some of them. And I got rid of a couple in Turkey, and some of one of my teammates that was playing in Chicago a couple years ago, I gave her one, another girl, and then he was the last one, and I was like, he was just so attached to us, and I was like, I got to keep him, like, I have to keep him, and I ended up keeping him. I had 2 dogs for a while, and then I had a friend just watching her mom watching my other dog. And then I ended up letting her mother keep the dog. She was just going through some things. And I ended up keeping Sunny. And then we've been stuck ever since.
I love it. What's the name Sunny for? Why Sunny?
Because I was like, this is my first son. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to call him Sunny.
Oh, that's cute. I like that. Okay, so championship, defending champs, Cake, Philly, Sunny. anything else we're missing? I like it.
Competitor, me in a nutshell.
Thank you. We love you, KFC. You're the best, and I can't wait to watch you in the playoffs. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Holly.